Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan Battle video. In this video we are going to take a look at the Planet Namek Saga challenge for the legendary Vegeta event. So this is a Fighting Legend Vegeta, and we are going to take a look at the mission that requires you to complete it with only Planet Namek Saga units. So we're going to be using a double LR Freezer lead. We're also going to have Captain Ginyu and the Raccoon and Gildo unit. But obviously guys, it's actually a pretty strong category in terms of taking on the event. There is actually quite a decent amount of units that you can take. Me personally, I suggest taking Captain Ginyu as your friend lead, or just as your lead in general. If you have him, great. If you don't have him, take him as your friend lead. There's no point taking Frieza, in a sense that Frieza obviously only gains his critical hits against Goku. He doesn't gain it against Vegeta. So I would take Captain Ginyu. I think Captain Ginyu is the best friend lead for you to take. He is an absolutely insane unit. That will bring healing, he will bring attack and defense, he will bring literally anything you need, evasion, crit, just tons of stuff. And he can link up really well with the physical LR Ginyu, who recently got their EZA, and so he actually has a very good free-to-play partner in the form of that physical Captain Ginyu. That physical Captain Ginyu, after his EZA, is very solid defensively. Obviously gains a whole bunch of attack and defense per Ginyu Force category ally on the team, creates physical key spheres, and yeah, just does a whole lot of good work. So having that Captain Ginyu alongside the AGL one is already going to give you a very strong base to take on this event without the other units that we're going to talk about. But we will obviously talk about them. Frieza is a great unit. Fits under Captain Ginyu's lead as well, which is obviously fantastic. Fantastic unit, just stacks, does damage, great attack stats, really strong, multiple super attacks, just a very strong unit from that perspective. So Frieza is very good. Obviously we've got him paired up with the Int third form Frieza. Now the Int third form Frieza is a very strong unit. We only have him at 55%, but he's actually a very strong unit. He has that ability to fire off multiple super attacks, which each have a high chance of becoming a super attack. This guy can launch 4 super attacks in one turn. He also provides support to the AGL Frieza, which I think is something that's very valuable. And he also will build up his attack and defense quite a bit with his attacks up to a certain point. Not to mention, when you have the potential to fire 4 super attacks in a single go, you actually can raise your defense up like a lot. He can raise his defense a hell of a lot. So he's really solid. I wouldn't sleep on him. I think he's very good. Paired with Ginyu, we are going to be running the Raccoon and Gildo unit. So Raccoon and Gildo are obviously a fantastic unit to run with any Ginyu character, or character that has Ginyu in their name. By running Raccoon and Gildo, we basically just have a unit that has guaranteed guard, which is obviously just fantastic. So Raccoon and Gildo are a absolutely top tier unit, very solid. We also do have quite a couple other interesting units to bring along. So we took the AGL Berta, just really cool. Berta is a very solid unit. Obviously after his EZA he's a lot better. He is a stacking unit, so he raises his defense. Also a little bit of a nuking unit, but he does have a high chance of evading, or a medium chance of evading in the second or third turn. And then if there's a Ginyu Force ally on the team, he has an additional 20% evasion. So his evasion is going to kind of set him up. It's going to give him a little bit of an extra layer of defense, and we can pretty reliably use him just to obviously get things done as much as possible. So I really think Berta actually was a really nice choice as a free-to-play unit. But yeah, I think overall the team is really good. We have a nice mix. We have Berta and the physical LR Ginyu as our free-to-play units. We have the AGL Captain Ginyu as a friend lead and as a main lead, which makes our team very strong, running under 200% leader skill. We then have the AGL Full Power Frieza, and we also have the very solid Strength Recouping Gildo, topped off with the third form Frieza. So the team overall is really, really strong. I think it's a very good team. Obviously, a lot of people may not have Captain Ginyu, and they may not have the AGL Full Power Frieza. If you can't use Ginyu, try and get another Frieza. If you can't use either of those two, try and run the Strength Goku. He's not necessarily bad. He should be fine for this, especially if you can get him to stack. But yeah, he's definitely the third choice. Luckily, Frieza is on the current banner, so hopefully you will have got him. And then you have a pretty solid option from that perspective to utilize. In terms of all of the other units from Planet Namek Saga actually has some really solid options. You could go for a super Planet Namek Saga build. You could use, for example, the Strength Goku with a mixture of the Int Super Saiyan Goku, who would be a fantastic unit to bring here. With his stacking a defense, he'd be incredibly powerful. You could use units like the Saiyan Pride, Vegeta Goku Exchange unit. You could use the Krillin and Gohan AGL LR unit. So you've got some pretty strong options from that perspective that I think are really overall quite reliable. You then got Nail, who is fantastic. You do have the Super Support Piccolo, the Super Tech Piccolo, who's honestly not too bad. I think a lot of people give him a lot of flack, but honestly speaking, I think he's actually really not that bad. I think he would have just been a little bit better if he also raised defense on the Super, but he's more than usable. Alternative options, you've still got units like the free-to-play Zarbon and Doria are pretty solid. You could use the physical Raccoon. He's a very solid option, especially if you are going to have a Ginyu Force related team. And then you can also use units like the Jason Berta, who are also a very strong unit with a lot that they bring to the table as well. I would obviously suggest running the Raccoon and Berta if you are going to run a Ginyu Force team. Altogether, they're very strong. And they can be really powerful, not to mention that they also obviously provide support to the rest of the rotation, so they are quite a strong unit from that perspective. In terms of the rest of the units, I don't think there's anyone noticeable that I would bring. The Int Ginyu, the free-to-play one, he's really good, but his defense will top out at a certain point. Especially in a long form event. The Int Final Form Frieza as well, he's also really solid, but he's much more, I would say, designed to really kind of shine in a situation where you are obviously taking on Goku's family units, because in that situation his guard will be active at all times and he'll have that 50% reduction as well. So he's very solid. I would just not really suggest bringing him because this is the Vegeta event. So obviously we skipped ahead a little bit. We're going to take on the final phase of Vegeta. It is very important, guys, that you do remember that the final phase of Vegeta does necessarily have a couple of things that we do need to be aware of. So obviously, throughout the challenge or throughout the battle against Vegeta, it is a little bit kind of simple. There's nothing too crazy that goes on. There's no real gimmicks or anything. The only thing you do need to be aware of is that for the last phase, Vegeta can evade attacks, but he also disables your evasion. So for units like Berta, for example, you can no longer rely on their evasion to act as an additional form of defense. So you do need to be somewhat aware of that so that you can obviously plan your team accordingly, and you do need to make sure that you obviously stack on your units as much as you can. You can see here we're getting hit by Vegeta's super attack, 213,000. We do have an item active, but yeah, you can definitely see that Vegeta is going to obviously cause us some issues. That being said, you shouldn't really have too many problems. A nice thing about this specific team build is that we have 2 heals from both of the Ginyu Force units, so generally speaking it's a pretty decent time. With that level of heals, it's not necessarily too difficult to stay topped up. Not to mention transforming Ginyu is also obviously a perk, because Ginyu will start to do more damage, he will start to cause more damage, he will start to do a lot more. So overall, I think it's definitely something that's a decent team design here. Besides that, in terms of support items, personally I always bring a Princess Snake and a Whis. I just think the 50% heal from the Princess Snake is usually enough, coupled with the 30% damage reduction. I find that it tends to work a little bit better than items like the 70% heals from things like Android 8s and that. And the Whis, the flat 40% damage reduction just does help out, and does generally just make things a lot easier. So what we're going to do here, we're going to transform good old Captain Ginyu, which is great, by the way. Also, at this point, if you do have double Ginyu lead, you can, once you've transformed Ginyu, consider pairing both Ginyus together. They will share perfect links, and it'll be an incredible pairing for you to run. So we're going to heal from this exchange, and obviously we're going to start building up Ginyu's crit abilities, because that is also one of the benefits of transforming him. Transforming him gives you a lot. Obviously his attack and defense goes up, but remember he actually also gains attack and defense per attack that he throws, and he also gains crit chance and evasion, so he's actually really solid from that perspective. Here we're going to use Frieza's active skill to kind of end things off here. Obviously we got Vegeta down to a pretty decent point. Frieza's active skill, by the way, and Goku's, the Int Goku's, they do a lot of damage, so don't be scared to use them. They do a crap ton of damage, so they are really solid abilities to use. Generally speaking, they will help you finish off the opposition quite nicely. So yeah, just be aware of that, and you should be alright. We're going to obviously finish everything off here. Captain Ginyu is going to do some very decent damage, and yeah, that's going to end off the Planet Namek Saga challenge for the Fighting Legend Vegeta event. So pretty straightforward, honestly, not that bad. The team build, like I said, Planet Namek Saga's got some incredibly strong options. Some may require dupes. I think the LR, Gohan and Krillin unit will probably require a dupe, and the Vegeta and Goku unit will probably be fine without one. But that's going to be it from me, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, obviously leave a like, and I'll try and get back to you guys with any comments that you post. I always try and reply to every comment, especially if you need help. Just leave a comment and I'll try and give you some ideas. We can talk about your options. But that's going to be it from me. Take care, stay safe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.